Hey guys, and welcome back to Cruising with Matthew and my third instalment of my Cruise Hints and Tips series. Today I'm going to be talking all about Port Day, so I really hope that you enjoy this. Now, without a doubt, probably the main interest of going on a cruise is the fact that you're able to see such a wide range of places in a particular region in such a short period of time. For instance, in a 1 or 2 week cruise, you're able to explore hugely popular destinations in places like the fjords, the Mediterranean, Iceland, the Caribbean, the Baltics, and during that time, you only have to unpack once, and all these fantastic facilities follow you as you go around. You don't have to worry about transfer times from place to place, and in general, it's a fantastic idea, and I absolutely love it. However, you should be aware of how long you get in each port, and this is really important in order for you to plan what you want to do in that particular area. Now, for the most part, a ship will stay for a full day, and as a result of this, it will arrive probably early morning and depart in the evening. This tends to mean that you're able to get off at around 8 and you have to be back on the ship for around 5 to 5:30. In some instances, this may be extended even longer and you will depart in the evening, and as a result of this, the ship will leave at around 10 to 11 p.m. and this means you're able to explore some of the nightlife of the port and you're potentially able to go out for a meal, which is a lovely experience, I can imagine. P&O Cruises, as well as some other cruise line, are also extending this to having overnights in port, and these tend to be ports which have significant areas of interest within them, and this can include places like Barcelona, and this really enables you to fully immerse yourself in the port that you're going to visit, and you don't have to worry about dashing around, doing it all in one day and trying to get back on the ship. In contrast, some ports do have a surprisingly short period of time that you're able to visit them before you need to be back on board. This includes places like Gibraltar, where on all the cruises that I've been on, I've never spent a full day. And as a result of this, it does mean that you only probably get around 4 or 5 hours before you have to get back on the ship. However, you are able to do a significant period within this, but it may mean that you have to be a bit more strategic, so just something to look out for. However, no matter the length of time that you have in port, this will be well advertised on your ship's daily program, as well as around the ship, on the gangway, and also over the tannoys. Do make sure that you're aware of these times before you get off the ship so you can plan your day or days accordingly and not have any unfortunate surprises when you get back. Now, a special type of port visit is known as a tender port, and this means that the ships, due to their size, cannot dock next to the quayside, and as a result they have to use what is known as tenders, and these are basically larger lifeboats which have seats and windows, so don't worry about that, and they will ferry passengers to the quayside. Now, this adds an extra level of complexity to getting off the ship, because these tenders, although large, are in no way the same size as the cruise ship in which is carrying them, and as a result of this, you have to get a ticket from a particular public area and wait for your ticket to be called, and then you can go ashore. This means that you should be strategic about what time you get off the ship, because inevitably there will be peak times where there will be queues getting on and off the ship. So do make sure that you keep aware of the announcements that are being made over the tannoy, as well as any announcements quayside. In addition to this, tender ports are much more affected by the weather, because if you look at the size of a ship and a tender, you can see why. This means that it may be wise to take some seasickness tablets prior to boarding, because it can get a little bit bumpy, but obviously this depends on the weather. Now, once you finally reach the quayside, either through conventional gangway or tender, then you need to be aware of the all aboard time. This is something that is set in stone and must be adhered to, because cruise ships have exceedingly strict schedules. This is something to consider when you're thinking about excursions. Now, cruise lines will offer a whole range of excursions with prices ranging from about £30 up to £100 per person, depending on what you're wanting to do. If you're feeling really adventurous, you can have private tours of places like Rome, or helicopter tours, kayaking, wine tours. There truly is an excursion for every single individual. However, these tend to be more expensive than if you bought them from a third party, but associated with that is the fact that it is easier to book through a cruise line, in my opinion, and if there are any issues such as missing a port due to poor weather, it's easier to get a refund in my opinion. Additionally, and this is probably my main safeguard, is the fact that if you're on a excursion that is organised by the cruise line, the ship has to wait for you. It does not matter how late it is. However, if you're on a third-party tour and you're stuck by traffic, the cruise line does not have to wait for you, and in most cases they won't, and I can't imagine anything worse than coming back to the port after a lovely day and realising your ship isn't here. That is something that no one wants, so please don't put yourself in that position. Make sure that you have oodles of time before you need to be on board, because you don't want to ruin a fantastic day. You are also free to do your own thing when you get off the ship. And I really enjoy doing this because I like going under my own steam and exploring things and coming across areas. However, if there are particular areas of interest and I know that I can't get there with any great ease, then I do book excursions. For example, I did a Gaudi tour exploring places like the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona last year. And I also took a tour in Gibraltar to go to the top of the rock to see the monkeys and also explore St. Michael's Cave. So things like that, I always like to do an excursion because it's just easier than trying to organise it myself. Now, one major thing that you need to be aware of when you're booking a cruise is the existence of 4 ports. These tend to be ports which are the closest to the area of interest that you're wanting to visit. This includes places such as La Spezia or Livorno to be able to visit cities like Pisa and Florence, Civitavecchia for Rome, Zeebrugge for Bruges, or Ismuiden for Amsterdam if you're not able to dock directly in Amsterdam. These will require lengthy transfers to and from the port, and in some cases can reduce the amount of time you get actually exploring the city. Now, in places like Rome, I'm pretty sure every time I visited Civitavecchia, we have been delayed because passengers have been stuck on tours and the traffic has been really bad out of Rome. Now, because these passengers were booked on excursions by the cruise line, the ship waited and there were no problems, but I feel like you're at a potentially increased risk of missing the ship if you go on a third-party tour. However, it is something to be aware of because some people are under the assumption that the ship docks right in Rome, and that just isn't possible because it's miles away. So do make sure you're aware of that if you're really wanting to visit particular places, because ultimately you may have to budget the cost of a transfer to and from a port. Now, invariably, ports can get changed or cancelled due to things such as political issues in the port in question, or you may have bad weather, mechanical issues, and as a result of this, the ship will miss a port, and this can be really frustrating for passengers, and I can only imagine how annoying it must be. Do bear in mind that this is a last resort option for any cruise line because they don't want to do this because they lose money, passengers get unhappy, and in general it's not an ideal situation. But ultimately safety comes first, so please make sure you don't get frustrated because it's just one of those things. These incidences are really rare, and for the most part port visits go off without a hitch. I've been on around 10 cruises and I'm pretty sure I've never had to miss a port, and I've enjoyed every single one I've been able to visit. The high number of ports that you can visit on a cruise is second to none, and it's a really unique opportunity to explore a wide range of places in such a short period of time, and it's really one of the main reasons why cruising is so appealing to everyone. So if you do get the opportunity to go, I would thoroughly recommend that you do it. However, I'd make sure that you do check the itinerary and make sure that you're not caught out on the day. So that is my port days hints and tips video, and I really hope that you found this useful. If you have, then please take a look at some of the other things on my channel and like and subscribe because it's always appreciated. If you have any further questions, please comment below and I'll do my best to answer them. If you want to know more about Cruising with Matthew, then take a look at my Twitter, Facebook and Instagram pages because I post on there daily. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video and I hope to see you on the next one. So this is Cruising with Matthew and thank you so much for watching.